Hello, my friends. It's Matthew Street. Welcome to my channel. I always appreciate you being here, folks. And folks, as you know, I absolutely love the Kinks, one of my favorite bands of all time since I was a little kid, getting that first Kinks Greatest Hits album, and I've never looked back. And I've done several videos about the Kinks recently, and so I'm continuing in my little series of celebrating 60 years of the Kinks in 2023. Now, I love all eras of the Kinks, the early Kinks, the classic 60s rocking Kinks, and then the later 60s, early 70s Kinks when you get into that, that stuff was on the Kink Chronicles from Village Green, Preservation Society, Author, albums like that, Something Else, Lola, that period of the Kinks, that later classic period of the Kinks. But then they went through kind of a phase in the beginning of the 70s to the mid-70s where they kind of faded a little bit, folks, in the general public's eyes, and their music wasn't as prominent. And I have to admit, that's probably my least favorite era of their music when you get into that 72 up to around 76 era of the Kinks. Although there is some classic stuff there that I absolutely adore, that's just the period that, it's a little bit shaky for me after the 60s and early 70s. But then they had that big resurgence, and I just did a recent video, you can go check it out, where I ranked the Arista years, the years from 1977 till about 1984 or 85, when the Kinks were on top of the world again. They put out a series of fantastic albums that went gold, that sold well, that made the charts, high end of the charts. They had one of their highest ever singles with Come Dancing in 1983. Unbelievable resurgence for the Kinks. Well, after that final Arista album, Word of Mouth, in 1984, the Kinks kind of went on the, on the low down again, so to speak. They weren't on that riding high on top of the rock music and music world. And they signed, I believe it was a 3-album deal with MCA. Now, the albums that came out of that MCA deal were, in 1986, you had Think Visual. In 1989, you had UK Jive. And then they also released a live album called The Kinks Live, The Road on MCA. Now, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, because I'm no expert on this stuff. I think that's all they had for a deal with MCA was these 3 albums. And they did okay. They're major label releases. I enjoyed them. They're not my favorite Kinks albums ever, these 2, but I have grown to enjoy them and love them over the years more and more. And they are an important part of my, important part of my collection. Okay? Now, the final Kinks album ever, though, came out on Columbia Records in 1993, on March 29th, 1993. Hey, we're almost not too much past the 30-year mark on the Kinks' final studio album. They came out with the album Phobia right here. I bought this the day I could get my hands on it. I grabbed it. I loved it. Now, I don't know if they only had a 1-album deal with Columbia. Maybe some of you can help me out here. But this is the only known release I know that came out on Columbia. I could be off. It could be a compilation I missed or something. But they released this one final 24th, if my number serves me correct, the 24th studio album from the Kinks. And then 3 years after this, in 1996, they essentially disbanded and haven't really worked together on any major official capacity since. But when this came out, folks, I was all over it. Their final album. And folks, in my humble opinion, Matthew Street thinks they went out on top. I absolutely love Phobia. I realize I'm a hardcore Kinks album, and I know there's been some criticisms levied against this album, that it's a little bit bloated. Initially, there were some mixed reviews. Some people were kind of lukewarm on it. I think Rolling Stone gave it 4 out of 5 stars, which was pretty good, but it was mixed. And like I said, a lot of people, their biggest complaint was it was bloated because there are 16 tracks on this album. And that was the thing going into the early 90s. A lot of these artists and bands were putting out, because of the CD genre or whatever, I don't know, CDs had been out for a while when this came out, but for some reason they were packing on the material. They were padding out the album, so to speak, and you weren't getting these little tight, concise 10, 11, or 12 track albums. You were getting stuff 14, 15, 16 tracks long. So when Phobia came out, yeah, it was a little big, but you know what? I don't care. I absolutely love it. I want everything that's on here, and I'm so happy to have it. And folks, why I think that they did the greatest thing by putting 16 tracks? Because, you know, I'm a Beatles fan. And when people will say to me that a casual Beatles fan, oh, the White Album, why didn't they take off a lot of that garbage and make it a nice, good single album? I say, phooey on you. Like Paul McCartney said in the anthology, it's the bloody White Album, shut up, and love it for what it is. Well, that's how I feel about Phobia. It's the damn Kinks' final studio album. It's Phobia, shut up. It's 16 tracks, who cares? That's my attitude anyway, folks. And why do I say that even more so? Because finally, folks, I have every Kinks album on vinyl. I had, except for one album. And that was Phobia. I never had a vinyl copy of this album. Finally, folks, not too long ago, I finally got Phobia on vinyl. It's been put out by Friday Music in affiliation with Columbia Records. I think it came out a few years ago. Someone can help me when it exactly was released. But Phobia was finally released on a double vinyl set. So there you go. Like the White Album, it's the bloody Kinks Phobia. Be quiet. It's a double album. 16 tracks, and they did it beautifully. They spread out all the tracks on these two albums, and I absolutely love it. And that's why I'm here today, folks, to celebrate Phobia and its 30th anniversary, the final Kinks studio album. And I think they went out on top because I absolutely love this album. But let's look at the meat and potatoes of this thing, okay? Beautiful front glossy cover, nice thick binding on the side, the Kinks Phobia, okay? You open it up, you get the beginnings of the lyrics over here. You get this picture, which was on the back cover, the inside back of the CD, I believe. Yeah, my memory serves me correct. Inside of the CD, you get a beautiful big image of the babies, hence the song Babies. Phobia, and then as you open it further, all the lyrics, folks, which I'm not going to be able to show you right now, but look at this beautiful, double fold here. It makes it a triplicate, trifold, whatever you want to call it, single, double fold, okay? There it is. Look at that beautiful, beautiful packaging on Phobia. Love it, love it, love it. And then as you open it up, you get a nice poster on the inside of Ray and Dave, the Kinks Phobia, all right, 12 inches by 24 inches poster. Make sure you can see that. There you go. So that's really nice. But the vinyl is absolutely beautiful, folks. I'm just going to show you one. You get two, okay? You get two. But as you can see, it's a pretty cool little colored vinyl here that I want to show you. I'm just excited. Very thick, 180 gram it feels like. And I don't know what you'd call this color, but here's what the vinyl looks like. Absolutely stunning, stunning, stunning. Love that. Marbleized, orangey, brown, reddish, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But isn't that nice? Just nice, nice, nice. So, folks, I'm so happy. After all these years, after 30 years, I don't think it initially came out on vinyl, if my memory serves me correct. But I'm so happy I was able to get my final Kinks album that I didn't have on vinyl. It's Friday Music in affiliation with Columbia. And folks, I love this album. And now that it's on a double vinyl set, all the more I'm glad they didn't trim the fat off Phobia and get rid of 2 or 3 songs, to make the people who want a more streamlined album happy. I'm glad they didn't, because it fits perfectly on here. You have 4 songs on side 1, 4 on side 2, 4 on side 3, and 4 on side 4. Okay, so 4, 8, 12, 16. It fits perfectly on a double album. I love it. I mean, you got the Kinks hit all the buttons on this album. All right, classic Kinks. You got the rockers like Drift Away, I love. Phobia. Babies is a cool song. It's All Right. Hatred. Somebody Stole My Car, Close to the Wire. Folks, it's absolutely great rockers on it. But then you get the introspective Kinks. You get the more thoughtful Kinks, like beautiful songs like Still Searching, classic, Only a Dream. If you don't like the song Only a Dream, there's something wrong with you. The song Don't is beautiful. The Informer, love that song. Scattered, the final song of the album, Scattered. What a beautiful sentiment from Ray and the band. It leaves you wanting more, folks. And I can't believe it's been the first part, 60 years of the Kinks. The first 30, so much great output. And now we've gone 30 more years without new material from the Kinks. What a shame. I pray and hope something before the end of this year, the Kinks will do something to celebrate their 60th anniversary, because I love them. Folks, you can get Phobia on vinyl. It's a little pricey, not extreme, but it's a little higher than you might want to pay. Maybe you can find it somewhere a little cheaper than I did. I didn't pay a fortune for it, but I had to pay, a few extra bucks to get this. But I had to have it. I had to complete my Kinks vinyl collection finally. So, folks, that's it. The final Kinks album, the 24th one, Phobia. Highly recommended from Matthew Street. Let's celebrate the Kinks. Let's celebrate their music and their outstanding craftsmanship. And folks, if he's still here, Mike, that's a little tribute to you, Mike, MGK Boston. Usually that little Canadian with the American flag display is back here, hidden somewhere. Mike, I brought it down for you, brother. And you're probably not still here. You probably bailed a long time ago. I know it, but that's okay. That's for you, Mike. I put that there. And also, for the rest of you out there, want to play a little game here at the end of the video? You know the books, Where's Waldo? Where's Sam St. John? Where is he? Can you find Sam St. John? He's around here somewhere. Love you all, folks. Bye-bye.